Sometimes I just wonder who is confusing who or who is deceiving who, because now the PGF, that is the Presidential Governors Forum, or what's it called, the Progressive Governors Forum, sorry about that, also are here telling the National Assembly that they should begin debates on true federalism. Well, do the governors of Nigeria actually have the interest of the people at heart? That is one thing we should ask ourselves. Really, it is very important. Or does the National Assembly really have the interest of the people at heart? Those are the things we should look at. So when they fight this scatter-right kind of fight in public, it makes Nigerians to, make them, it's Nigerians just feel like these guys, who are they really trying to make a fool out of? Because these guys are so funny now. The Progressive Governors Forum are requesting that some of these things be amended and all of that. Anyway, more details I'll bring to you about this so that we'll get to understand exactly what is going on right here. But before then, please, if you have not subscribed to Saffron Media, please ensure you hit the subscribe button and also give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to turn on your notification bell. Okay, guys, right here it says that the Director General of the Progressive Governors Forum, PGF, Dr. Saliu Lukman, has enjoined the National Assembly to immediately commence deliberation on the clamor for true federalism in the country. Lukman said it would be the best interest of the country if the Governor Nasir El-Rufai led APC committee recommendations on the issue are subjected to debate for constitutional and legal amendments in the National Assembly. In a statement titled Nigerian Democracy and Challenge of Interest Negotiation, Lukman said it beats his imagination that the ruling elite found it convenient to mobilize support for electoral contest, but impossible to consider matters that affect the well-being of the nation. He warned that without the capacity by the citizenry to negotiate interest and broker compromises, democracy and the corporate existence of the nation would fail. Both citizens and political leaders must take the urgent necessary steps to be on the same page and transform all our political structures into active platforms for interest negotiation. Why should we have political parties that are only platform for electoral contests? Why is it difficult for our elective and appointive political leaders to engage demands of citizens? Why should we have trade unions, civil society, youth and women organizations whose activities are now more noticeable if only they are able to organize protests and strikes? Beyond serving as affirmative action for freedom of association and rights to freedom to freely contest and organize strikes, what is the value of those protests and strikes? In fact, what is the value of our democracy? Democratic development should be about the significant compromises brokered and the extent to which citizens, on account of the compromises, are able to feel a sense of belonging. Any democracy can be adjudged to be working well if through the different compromises it produces, citizens are able to feel a sense of belonging, the DG said. He blamed the ruling elites for the recent EndSARS protests, stressing the need to negotiate with the organizers to chart the way forward to the governance of the country. The terrifying situation now is that our young people have joined the crowd of angry population largely because of the perception that any demand they make becomes disagreeable to our political leaders and therefore classified as rebellion, which must be crushed. On the other hand, there is also the weakness on the part of citizens, which affects their capacity to take responsibility through sacrifices and demonstrate respect for others, including political leaders. Citizens want leaders to initiate responses to our political challenges, and we present such demands by abusing and criminalizing our political leaders. How can there be any political negotiation when the language is abusive? Combinations of inability to take responsibility and hostile political environment which doesn't support negotiation creates the perilous situation whereby the last protest of young Nigerians against police brutality in the country was organized with undercover or virtual leadership, he said. And, some of the comments from Nigerians will actually shock you because some of them just feel like, okay, this is coming at the wrong time, or perhaps what are the interests of these guys in all of this that they are saying? Is it that they are really trying to help the youth of the country, or it was for their own benefit? Though they spoke really well, but it is it really for the interest of these young men and women, or for the interest of the governors? Because they spoke really nicely about the NSAS protest, and they talked about the youth and some of the parts of the political class that are supposed to actually be functional, that are not functional at all. But the only time they are being functional is when there's an election, or even some political parties that are not even functional. Some of the elective position, appointive positions, and leaders, they just sit there doing nothing. He said, how come it is only when the civil society, youth and women organizations go about with protests and strikes, that is when they are being recognized? They said all of these things should be critically looked into, and I so much agree with them, because they are just trying to create monsters out of these young men and women in Nigeria, trying to ensure that there's a better Nigeria for everyone. Because they said any democracy can be adjudged to be working well if, through the different compromises it produces, citizens are able to feel a sense of belonging. How many citizens of Nigeria are actually feeling a sense of belonging? Because everyone was blaming the young Nigerians, and about the protests that went down. He said, but the blame should be on the ruling elite for everything that is happening in the country today, that the blame should be on the ruling elites, because every time they are being terrified by what these young men and women can do. But all of these things can be brought to a compromise, and there could be an agreed situation where everyone will agree. So, but on the other hand, there's also the weakness on the part of the citizens, which affects their capacity to take responsibility through sacrifice and demonstrate respect for others. Well, I will not agree with that, because citizens want leaders to initiate responses to our political challenges. And when we present such demand by abusing and criminalizing our political leaders, really, Nigerians have not really criticized or criminalized political leaders. Most of the Nigerian politicians are actually criminals, because the kind of money they embezzle is nothing to write. It is enough to run another nation on its own without borrowing any funds from anywhere. So really, there's nothing like criminalizing political leaders right here. But anyway, it could be for their own interest, but we never can tell. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and see how this federalism stuffs go about. But anyway, guys, thanks for being here. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Do have a pleasant time. Bye for now.